Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast, season 11, episode 12. It was kind of a filler episode, but I think we learned a lot, and I have some stuff to say.
Ooh, I like when you have stuff to say.
It's one stuff, and
Oh,
I'm
cool.
just going to brag.
Oh, cool.
Great. Okay, but before I get to bragging, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast, which is also a Winter House podcast and a Summer House Martha's Vineyard podcast. And we have the show we have our show One Season Wonders. In case you're new and you don't know what that is, it's a show where Meredith and I watch a show that only has one season and we talk about it. And it's honestly our favorite podcast to ever do.
Speaking of One Season Wonders, our first one, NYC Prep is on Peacock, is back available on Peacock. So go watch the show and then
you can go watch it and listen to us.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to look up these people because I do it on the podcast. I do deep dives.
Yep. It's the best series we've ever done.
Of course. Okay, also, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Meredith, we have 2 new reviews to talk about.
This makes my heart so happy.
They're both 5 stars, by the way.
Obviously.
So one is from Bella B311 titled Fantastic. And Bella B says, I love these 2. They have quickly become my fave VPR podcast. They don't hold back their opinions, which are always right on, quote, because they're the same as mine. And they add some comedy in with their commentary. It's like hanging out with old friends.
I love that.
We're very funny. Thank you for realizing.
Thank you. And we're old friends.
We are old friends. We're coming up on like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, the second one is from Michelle GJO. We'll just do that.
Yep.
Gio? Doesn't matter. Michelle, hey, what's up? It's titled For the Girls. And Michelle says, I prefer a female perspective for my guilty pleasure Bravo shows, and these girls hit the spot. I'm constantly saying exactly and thanking them for saying what I was thinking. You won't regret adding them to your podcast list.
Woohoo!
That's friggin' right. No one's ever regretted listening to us.
No.
Literally, not one.
And if you do, we don't want to hear it.
If you do, you're wrong.
I don't know why you came back.
Yeah, that's super weird.
That one's on you.
Continue to hate listen. No, so thank you so much for the reviews. Okay. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta and join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want. Today, we started talking about would you rather be in a forest with a man or a bear? And we ended with
some books.
Yeah, like good and bad smut books.
Yeah. And like what's best to read when you're traveling.
Yeah, that's great. How did we end up there? I don't know, but it wasn't hard.
Go listen to find out.
Also, you get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and watch old seasons, we'll do a Bravo after show to talk about current Bravo news so we can do the podcast spoiler free. But because this is a live season, we'll talk about whatever Bravo news we want to on this podcast. Mm-hmm. Also, we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Allie, Chris, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Jennifer, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Kirby, Chrissy, Lady Swamp Witch, Lauren, Lindsay, Robin, Sammy, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Ann, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Leanne, Lisa, Taylor, and Tara. I did it!
You did it! Hip hip hooray!
Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Which, can I just say, finally, our patrons are talking amongst each other. We're having discourse and conversation, and it's amazing.
Yeah, we have a new chat feature that's really fun.
It's
funny because sometimes Alicia will pop in under our username, and sometimes I will, and it's so funny to pick up the conversation from each other.
I love it.
I was like, I don't remember typing that. And then I was like, right, Alicia can't log in.
Yeah, there's 2 of us. Thank God we share a brain.
Yes, yeah.
And then our last tier for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when there are live seasons, which is now, I will post in the Patreon and ask for your thoughts, questions, opinions, concerns, and we'll read them on the podcast. And that's where I saw a ton of people talking amongst each other, which is amazing. Please continue to do that. And also, I'll pick a patron of the episode. So everyone, usually I go off who's participating. Everyone who's participating has already gotten an episode, and I like to spread the love best I can. So this week's patron of the episode is Darby.
Woohoo!
Darby's been around. Thank you so much for being here, Darby. We super appreciate it. And I hope you're enjoying our Patreon, and this one's for you.
Shout out to you.
Okay, so should we get into the freaking episode? Great.
Let's do it. I can't wait for your stuff.
It's just one brag. So previously on Vanderpump Rules, Lala's trying to get a sperm donor and she's going to throw a party to pick it. Scandoval doesn't want to leave his house and Ariana is heartbroken that her home was destroyed. Scandoval is no longer in touch with Raquel and he is very much still in love with her even though she isn't in love with him. Okay, so we open up at Kyle Chan's jewelry store. Sheena's here. She's shooting her new Good as Gold music video with that band, the 27s. Ariana, Lala, and Brock are here too. Katie's not going to come because she's on her deathbed. Sheena doesn't think Katie's actually sick. She thinks that Katie is avoiding Lala after their fight. Look, maybe Katie just doesn't want to be associated with your song. It doesn't matter.
I know. I was like, are you paying these people? Because if not, then it's just volunteering.
Yeah, and what really did they do?
They stood there.
Listen,
they looked gorgeous.
But I gotta be honest, I went on a deep dive in Sheena Shea's musical life, so I'm pumped to talk about this too.
Oh my God.
But whatever. So the music video that they shoot is basically like the 27 singing and Sheena just like dancing in the background.
And like walking down the stairs.
Yeah. So I listened to the song. No, I didn't go look at the music video, but I listened to the song and it really is just the 27s and like occasionally Sheena's like vocals come in. So I don't think they ever really recorded together. I think the 27s took Sheena's song with her permission and like redid it.
That was the like emo version, right?
Yes.
Okay, so she came and recorded the emo screams, I remember, on this season, but
truthfully, on the song I don't remember really an emo scream. Just the one on Spotify. However, she is credited. Her Spotify name is changed from Sheena Shea to Sheena Marie, which I get it, but also I do want to keep it as Sheena Shea for me because that's just how I love her.
I was thinking about that recently, like how interesting she has kept Sheena Shea this long.
I mean, she has that one song that literally starts out with Sheena Shea, Shay FK, Shay F Kennedy, because James and Shay used to work together. So that was like hilarious. Anyway, doesn't matter. So Sheena Marie, Good as Gold, her original is still her number one streaming song on Spotify, obviously, because it's a fucking banger. Okay, but Sheena basically, she loves doing her music. She has found passion in it. And truthfully, you got to do what you love. And this, I love it too. I'm not going to say I didn't listen to a few songs today.
It did make me giggle though, because she was like, it helps me get my like emotions out. And I was like, girl, you're not writing these songs.
Well, I think if you listen to her new song Apples that she talks about later, she definitely wrote those lyrics because it was no. Did you listen to the note I sent you?
Oh my God, no, I don't think I did.
Well, now's not the time. Basically,
now's not the time.
It was about the song Apples.
How did I miss that?
I would say that.
Oh, I hadn't watched the episode yet, so I didn't. I thought it was a spoiler.
No worries. I would say that Sheena definitely wrote those lyrics, and we'll talk about them later because I did a deep dive on Apple. Don't worry.
Okay.
Or Apples. Okay, so then we cut to James and Allie's house. Allie's listening to the podcast that Rachel went on, which is just Bethany Franco's podcast. Bethany can sue me if she wants.
I cannot believe I forgot that this came out when they were filming.
The 4-part trash.
Oh, it was so bad.
Terrible. So, Allie just tells James that Rachel blames Hibby's behavior on James. Great. Then we cut back to Sheena's music video where Ariana, Lala, and Sheena are talking about the podcast. Sheena hasn't listened, so they give like little points that they've heard from the podcast. Well, Rachel said that her and Ariana were just acquaintances, even though we get shots of Rachel from last season calling Ariana and this group, her forever friends.
God.
Which, like, there's just no accountability fucking ever from her. And that's what bothers me.
Because, like, she's trying to... I understand if you're like, listen, I had people I've known my entire life who are actually, like, my best friends, and these were my friends. Like, it is less severe, but I still messed with somebody's life. That would make sense to me. But she's trying to act like they were nothing.
My issue is, I really would take her as, like, she was manipulated by this man and, like, whatever. If she could say, like, I fucked up, I screwed up, I was terrible, and continue that narrative. I feel like she just kind of said that at the reunion and then got out of her mental health facility and was like, actually, I'm a victim.
Like, wait, I did nothing wrong.
Like, you can be a victim and be
make
the person that hurt other people. Yeah. So Rachel also said that Sheena has a savior complex and the friendship was mutually beneficial. And Rachel says she paid rent in Sheena's apartment that she stayed in. And Sheena says that Raquel paid $1,000 on her $4,300 apartment, didn't pay for parking, didn't even stock up on toilet paper, and had sex in her bed.
Your TikTok where you were like, wow, you really missed out on Sandoval, like, stocking things because he's so great at that.
My immediate thought was, why didn't you call Tom Sandoval?
I mean, Sandoval's house was stocked to the brim. He couldn't bring, like, some toilet paper and pens over whenever he fucked you.
As I said in my TikTok, she could have gotten a free pen out of it. You never know, you know? So,
you know, she's just burning away, writing all her thoughts down.
I'm just saying, go watch my TikTok. I think she fucked up, but, you know. Anyway, we cut back to Allie and James's house. Rachel said on the podcast that she never liked Sandoval and wasn't over James. I didn't listen. Was this a thing?
I forgot. I feel like I just put this out of my brain what happened. I think I watched recaps of the episodes. I don't think I ever listened to the episodes. But I do remember Rachel saying, like, she wasn't over James. This was, like, a reaction. But, girly, it's honestly better I think it's better if she just says, like, yeah, I loved Sandoval, like, and I made a mistake.
I think so, too.
Or I really cared about him. But to be like, oh, didn't care about that man at all.
I don't know what PR she's hiring, but truthfully, you should probably call Hub House because she's queen of PR. She can make me believe anything.
That's true. That's so true.
You? Nah, not so much.
It's still so bad. Like, think about present day. She's still spitting out these podcast episodes, and she's doing, like...
She's doing what we're doing. She's recapping the show she used to be on.
I know, but she's, like, clipping in her promo. She's clipping, like, scenes from the show for her promo, and everybody's like, you're proving everybody right. Like, what they're saying about you. You're getting the evidence together, like, to prove you're wrong. Like, you're not doing this right.
Well, it's more just like, if you're going to be so obsessed with the show you were on, just go back to it.
Yes.
Like, you're all upset that, like, people were making money off your scandal, but, like, you're literally monetizing off this show you chose not to be on.
How much do you think she's making? Like, not enough.
But people are listening to her.
I don't
know who these bots are that keep leaving positive reviews and positive comments on all her shit.
They're pick-me girls.
It's only positivity. I can't find one negative, like, can you just shut the fuck up comment. It's all, we're so proud of you. We love you. I really think they're bots.
Well, can she give us the name of that? I'm happy to purchase some bot reviews.
For us? Jesus Christ. Jeez. Anyway, so James is going to go to Sandoval's studio space tomorrow. So James is going to just see what Sandoval thinks. And James understands Sandoval has lied to him, but he's trying to understand their friendship and see if there's something to save. Also, Allie, really quick in passing, is like, Lala's having a sperm donor party. And then we cut to the girls at Sheena's music video, and they're like, sperm donor party. And I was like, wow, who edited this? Great job. But this is when Lala, who openly has hated Ariana's house, asks if she could throw her sperm donor. I almost said stoner or something. I don't even know what came out. Sperm donor party at Ariana's
Lala
house.
Literally said, oh, since you still have that house, can you host my party? I was like, don't you dare ask a favor from Ariana. Especially about the house.
Shit on her, especially about this house, and said it's not even that big a deal. She should just get out. No one has thought that Tom Sandoval should just get out of the house, not for a fucking second. If
Ariana should just get an apartment, why don't you throw your stupid little party at your apartment?
Yeah. Apartments aren't that bad. You said it.
No.
So whatever. So luckily Ariana's like, so since Anne has been gone, the house is a mess. So like, no. And then honestly, I think this was a good excuse, even if like the house wasn't a mess, to be like, no, it's messy.
Yeah, the house being a mess helps her say no.
I don't want you to come. Yeah.
You're not invited to my house.
So Lala's gonna ask Lisa to host it. But basically Lala tells us we're picking Lala's future child. She wants to make the situation less about the science of it and more about like the love of the child coming in, which is great. Awesome.
I think it's cute. It's a we wanted you situation. We all who sat there wanted you to be from this other person.
We all like helped pick.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I would love to do this for my friend.
Oh, yeah. I would love to give my opinion on something I didn't know about.
Give you a binder with 3 people. I will give you pros and cons.
I wish they had showed more on the show so I could have made more of an educated decision.
That's the thing. Why didn't they make this like a game show? Like put up a screen with some of the info. I get you don't want to give all the info away.
Make it camp though, like for us to play along. Yeah.
Give me a little text screen. Like, we can all vote whenever we're watching live. Like Andy does on Watch What Happens Live.
I agree. I think it should have happened. Okay, so then we got to James and Allie's house. Really quick, Allie is like, oh my God, Lala's been venting about Katie. So wonder how that friendship will work out. What foreshadowing, Allie. Thank you so much. Then we go to Tom Schwartz's apartment. I forgot he was blonde. Wait, oh yeah, he's blonde now.
I forgot. I don't know why, but I just thought immediately he'd be back to brown already.
Yeah, I literally was like, it wasn't important enough for me to care.
Because I think on the after show last week, somebody said, oh yeah, he switched back to brunette pretty quickly. And in my mind, every episode's a week, but it's not.
It's just like the next day. Yeah. So Sandoval comes over and he is shell-shocked about the Rachel Bethany podcast. He is so upset that Rachel is playing the victim. And Schwartz is like, well, you both like got it pretty bad. So, and Sandoval's like, yeah, but I've made changes about myself, hoping that Rachel would appreciate those changes and come back to me. So how dare she be the victim when I'm the victim?
I constantly flip back and forth on who's the villain of this episode, Rachel or Tom. But I'm just like... you're so manipulative that you think because you stopped drinking, she should just run back to whatever you want for her. I think she's a shitty person on her own. But that doesn't mean she's going to come running to you just because you want her to.
Yeah. I think she's less dangerous in the sense that she's not manipulative. She's just
stupid. I'm not going to call her the D and the S word.
But, I mean, dumb and stupid. And I also think... truthfully, she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, it's giving like you're just not trustworthy and I don't want to be around you. Whereas Tom Sandoval could potentially, honestly, use his charm on me for me to be like, oh yeah, and then be like, oh no. And he could fuck it up. We see him being manipulative this whole episode. So
it's the tears also, I was like, stop with the Mactor.
Well, Meredith, now he can fully give up hope for him and Rachel. So
I was like, sir, she blocked you on her cell phone. That wasn't the sign?
No. What are you talking about?
We were all waiting. I mean, this is the point in the summer. I remember we were like, oh, she's not returning to Vanderpump Rules. Like, we kind of held out hope that she might.
It was the Bethany.
Return.
Yeah, it was the Bethany of it all. And then Sandoval is like, she didn't even give it a shot. What was this all for?
Okay.
Oh, sucks when your affair doesn't really work out, huh, guy?
I'm kind of with him, though. Like, a 7-month affair, you might as well date after.
We said that. We were like, they better end up together forever.
That's the only thing I'm on his side for, of like, you really honestly should have given it a real shot.
Dude, I get it, but also, it's funnier that, like, yeah, what was this all for? And it still didn't fucking work out for you. Like, it's still just kind of
It is flat. Funnier that it blew up in his face.
Yeah, it's just funny. Mm-hmm. And then who wants to date her or be friends with her? She's just going to steal your man. or try to, and then she's gonna leave his ass. She probably only likes taking men, to be honest. So now that he's single,
she likes the game of it. Like, she wants to be able to win their attention, and she's the better one. It's the ultimate pick-me.
Enjoy your life. But Schwartz is like, Sandoval, it's over, buddy. And then sad music plays over Tom Sandoval's sad face.
Oh my God.
Whatever. Then we cut to Tom, and Lisa's here, and she says hey to Logan, the manager. And Lisa's like, Logan, where is Tom and Tom? And Logan's basically like, I don't fucking know, Lisa.
Okay, Logan's the new Peter.
Kind of Peter, yeah.
Yeah, no, we need one person working in these places to remind us of our like roots.
Well, I love Logan because Peter would play into it, right? If Lisa was like, where are Tom and Tom? Peter would be like, I don't know. They're late. They're always late, those Toms. Whereas she asked Logan, and Logan's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. He does it again too.
Give me more.
I love Logan. He does it again too because they're here because they're gonna bring brunch into Tom. So they're working on brunch cocktails, which honestly could just be like regular cocktails. But
it's called mimosas and Bloody Marys. We don't have to make it this complicated.
It's really not. But she goes, Logan, are you excited for brunch? And he's like, yeah.
My God.
The fuck does he care? He's making minimum wage either way.
I never realized that when Pump closed, they made the Tom Garden into Pump. How did I miss that? Did you see the sign?
Yes, I thought it was just like an homage.
Because we had seen the Pump gate, and I thought that was an homage, but there is a Pump. And like Schwartz talks about it this episode. He's like, oh, we finally got brunch. I mean, it's like with Pump, but we finally got it at Tom.
Oh, I love that. You know what? I don't care either way. They're both Lisa's restaurants. She can do whatever she wants.
True. Those stupid 2.5% owners. Okay, shut up.
Each. Literally, when we thought it was 5%. Remember when you were like, I thought it was 5% each? And I was like, I mean, 2.5 each.
As if like that's some groundbreaking percentage, but.
Yeah, they own max 10%, but no, it's just 5. Whatever. So, yay, brunch. Tom Schwartz is here. He immediately gets questioned by Lisa about the blonde. But Logan's like, it honestly turns me on. And Lisa's like, Logan has great taste, Schwartz, so you're good now. I was like, I don't know. But then Tom Sandoval is here. He's very late. And Schwartz is like, oh, I'm so worried about him because of this Rachel podcast.
Okay, let's stop giving Tom Sandoval passes for being late. It's rude. He's not just 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late. He is like 45 minutes late to things. Well, it's so incredibly rude.
He also had the strawberry puree, though. So please remember, he's bringing a lot.
When he comes in one late, bottle, puts that on, is like, here. I'm like, where is your, hey, I'm so sorry I'm late, giving me a fake excuse.
You couldn't even bring 2 bottles of strawberry puree? It was just the one?
I want Lisa to just wrangle him by the neck and just.
She won't. She loves her toxic men. Loves them.
I'm so happy. I realized Lisa really hasn't been on this season, and I'm happy because
God,
I don't need to hate her more than I do.
If she kept pushing this man on me, I would literally lose it. Anyway, so Schwartz is like, oh my God, Sandoval's in such a bad place. Me and Logan are going to exit, so you two could just talk really quick. And Lisa's like, hey, you okay with the podcast? And he's like, no, Lisa, I'm really upset. And she's like, why do you listen to it? Why do you do that to yourself? And Sandoval's like, I want to listen to the bullshit that's being said about me. And Lisa's like, oh no, you're going to spiral again if you keep listening. And then that was kind of the end of it. And then she was like, how's the house going? And he's like, good. Ariana accepted my offer, but now Scandoval is rethinking the offer because it was so long ago that he sent it. And now his thoughts have changed.
Which I was like, what?
I thought he was being petty to be like, now I don't know if I want to sell it for this or like give Ariana this much. I'm going to give her less.
And now that she's agreed.
She called me a dog murderer.
I want to change the rules.
Yeah. Now. But Lisa's literally like, sell the house and get out. She's the only one that has told this man to sell the house.
Which is insane. I can't wait to talk about the house stuff later because I find it so comical knowing that they still haven't sold the house.
It's so stupid. And they don't sell the house for such a long, like nothing happens with it still. Recently in present day, she just moved out.
Yeah, but they still own the house together.
He didn't buy her?
No, it is still their house. She just
bought a separate house with all her Duracell.
She bought a second house, and they are in court about the house. Like, I remember in like March, she like submitted a lawsuit.
Just sell the house.
Just sell the house.
Okay, so now Lala's here, and I'm like, the fuck is Lala doing here for brunch? But she's basically here to ask Lisa to host her sperm donor party. Schwartz is like, with me? And she's like, no straight men allowed, only their sperm.
Also, the party's tomorrow, and she's asking Lisa now.
Obviously, Lisa knew about this. Haha. Lisa clearly also doesn't understand this. She's very old school. She's like, why would you do this?
Wait, backing up to where the party is, do you think Lala asked Ariana, knowing she would say no to make her look like bad? And that this was always planned for being at Lisa's?
There's no way all this happened in one day.
I mean, I agree, but...
Maybe.
I just feel like they're going out of their way to make Ariana look stupid.
They're trying. They're trying their best.
I'm not accepting. You cannot sell me this bill of goods.
It's not really working with the masses, so try again, Bravo. Are we still embarrassed?
I'm embarrassed for them.
What did we say on Summer House? We kept going, grow up. Like, Bravo needs to grow up.
Bravo needs to grow the fuck up.
It's 2024. You think we're on the side of the men? Come on.
The men who've done nothing.
Up.
Those Mactor tears, you think I'm on that side?
Grow up. So, whatever. Lisa doesn't understand sperm donors, but she's going to have the party at her house. So, yay. Then we go to Tom and Ariana's house. It is a mess. Not as messy as I thought, but I mean, I wouldn't want people over either.
Stuff messy. It's not like it's gross messy. I get into this sometimes. I don't like to put all my stuff away.
Agreed. I'm messy. I'm not dirty. That's what I like to say. So Brock and Sheena are here with some boxes for Ariana, probably because she doesn't want Tom stealing her mail. I would also send my boxes elsewhere.
No, they were sitting out on the front porch and they brought them in.
Oh, I thought they were at like Sheena and Brock's house.
The like mental cartwheels you do for these random non-story stories crack me up.
I know, it literally means nothing, and I'm like,
You're like, wow, that's so nice. She mails all their packages to their house and then they bring them over.
Yeah, Summer Moon gets to go through the packages first. Yeah.
Nope, they were just on the front porch like a normal person.
Doesn't even matter, honestly. This means nothing to the storyline. So, Logan, our favorite double agent, told Ariana that Sandoval, he heard, is having second thoughts about selling that or keeping the house. I love a double agent.
Me too.
And Ariana's pissed because she's basically like, I bet Tom saw the number and the backup I sent him, and now he's regretting trying to buy the house because he can't financially do it, which is true because he A, has talked about how broke he was at this time. B, no one wants to work with him. He has zero income. He's really not at Schwartz and Sandy's either. And it's floundering at this time. And C, where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I had another point. It doesn't matter. Oh, okay. C, we see later that he needs another loan. So what the fuck?
Yes, I don't think, again, Ariana had said whenever they went to Hotel Ziggy, he had sent a letter of intent, not an offer. Yeah. And so I don't think he ever went through the channels to understand what buying Ariana out of the house would really take. And on the after show, he was like, if she just would have responded to my letter immediately, my financial situation was a lot different then.
Then I would have been broke.
I'm sorry. In just 2 to 3 months, your financial situation drastically changes that you can no longer buy your ex-girlfriend out of your house. What the fuck were you doing with your money?
If you had bought the house 2 months ago, you would, in current time, be so goddamn broke.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Has the money from Special Forces not hit his account yet?
But that's not enough to own a $1 million home.
This has to be at least $3 million without the furniture.
And the interest rate is so different from when they bought it. So that immediately jumps up the price.
And didn't he refinance it to Schwartz and Sandy's? Remember that whole thing?
Yes, but that was before.
They put a loan against something like that.
That was before the pandemic, so it's not like they went up to the 6%, but they probably had sub-zero loan when they bought it when they refinanced it, and so that is going to change a lot. But that interest rate didn't change in the last 3 months drastically, so like that isn't the problem.
Crazy.
It's that he didn't actually put together a real offer. Understand it. Listen, I don't understand buying a home.
I don't get it either.
Don't make it her fault that you can't afford this.
No accountability, not even with buying a house.
Sell the home.
Oh my God. Okay, so they also talk about the podcast, which was 4 parts, which I, again, said I am so grateful I never listened.
And it was probably like half of it was commercials.
I also fucking hate Bethany. Oh my God.
I wonder how much she made off that, Bethany did. Because we know Raquel did not get any money from it. How embarrassing.
That's better. I'll accept that more. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it just reminds us how stupid she is.
Well, we're not going to say the D and the S word, but...
Never.
Okay. So Sheena tells us she has a new song out called Apples. We get a clip of her performing part of it to her mom.
The smile Alicia has on her face, I'm literally crying.
Okay. So Sheena performs part of it to her mom. Her mom does not care. Let me tell you, her mom hates this song. Anyway, Sheena then tells us she wrote it about Rachel, but in the second verse, it has to do with Sandoval. So I obviously need to listen to Sheena turning her trauma into art. And I looked up the lyric video that Sheena mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And basically this song, the best way to describe it is, it sounds like 3 songs put into one. Like the rhythm of it.
Stop.
So it opens up, and it's true. The first verse, totally about Raquel, where it's like, I thought you were fake. I thought you were my friend. You ended up being fake. And then it just sounds like a chill like diss track, and then it goes into this like punk pop kind of vibe where the 27s come in hard with like the bridge, and so I was like, oh, different. And then it goes into like pop diss. It goes from like diss to punk to pop diss, where it's like APPLES. How you like that?
No.
Or how you like them. How you like them apples. You get it? APPLES. But let me tell you, honestly, it's not the worst. Then the second verse comes in, and it's hardcore about Sandoval. Listen, these lyrics, you know who they're about. This was crazy. She's like a narcissist. She calls him a narcissist, says he went from a Ferrari to a Jetta, which we talk about later because Raquel drove a Jetta, so we went from Ariana to Raquel. So like a downgrade.
What a great line.
And talks about how she thought he'd always be her friend, and now he's just fucking trash, basically. And then
God, so it wasn't just one line.
It's a verse. It's her second verse is all about him.
My God, I thought it was just one little quip about
the first
Ferrari
one is like, you were my best friend. We went out all the time. You were blah, blah, blah. And then it goes, like I said, into this punk, like I don't remember the exact like melody, but it went punk. And then like, APPLES, like out of nowhere. And yeah, the Sandoval thing. And then Apples just ends it. APPLES. How you like them. Yeah, no. But honestly, everyone should listen at least once. It was kind of a banger. I listened 3 times so far. So 2 of her streams are from me, and 1 of the views on the lyric video.
Oh, the 7 streams, 2 of them are from you?
No, 3.
Oh.
I did 3 times. She has a lot of, like I said, it's honestly kind of a banger. So go listen. God. Okay. It's no good as gold, but I
can't promise anything, but
I think you should give it 1 shot and look up the lyric video so you can see the lyrics and understand what I'm saying. Also, I'd like to say, the song, if it was like Taylor Swift doing this song, we'd be like, wow, that's awesome.
I'm sorry. No.
Not the lyrics. No. Not the lyrics. The actual music. We'd kind of be like, oh, 3 different kinds of songs, like that kind of slaps. It's the lyrics that are so like Taylor makes you think about the lyrics. Sheena straight up like, you were my friend and then you're not because you're a liar.
Taylor like codes her words and really thinks about it.
Also, Sheena's
like, let me tell you,
she rhymes better with better, so you do what you can. But it's a banger. Everyone go listen at least once to educate yourself. Okay.
To educate yourself. Shut up.
That's Apples for everyone who was wondering.
Was that your bit? Was that your stuff?
No, I have something else. So I forgot about Apples, to be honest.
More stuff to come.
There's more. So Anyway, Brock and Sheena are here. They're here to help clean because Sheena heard Ariana say, like, my house is so messy, I can't have people over. So Sheena's like, how messy is it? Also, Sheena has OCD, so she's got to fucking clean. So she starts cleaning all this up. And honestly, if you want to come into my place and clean it, please feel free. I am
like Sheena, where I'm like, let's get after it. Like, it just takes, like, the energy. You have to do it.
Ariana's like, nah.
But Ariana's like, no, that's all Scandoval stuff. Don't touch it. And Sheena's like, I don't care. Everything has to go.
I think Sheena genuinely is very worried. Because, like, if you said something like, my house is so messy, I don't even want you over in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you had a giant 3 mil house, I'd be like, oh my God, Meredith, how fucking messy is it? We can't sit in, like, one room.
Yeah.
You know? So I also would be like, I don't want you to spiral. But, like, if I was Sheena and I walked in, I'd be like, oh, this isn't, like, that bad. But I think Sheena still is like, I must help, which fine.
And this shows me Sheena really is Ariana's friend. Like, as much as we shit on Sheena earlier in the season for making it about her and, like, telling Ariana she needed to sell the house, like, Sheena is showing up for her friend. Lala has yet to do anything.
APPLES, you know, that's Sheena for you.
How you like them.
How you like them. So we go to Tom Sandoval's studio session with the most extras.
I kind of forgot they existed. And I wish I could live full time in a place where they don't exist.
First of all, new ick unlocked. If I ever see any man do what Tom Sandoval was doing and saying, ick. It was terrible. Second question, do you think Aloe hates that he's wearing their hat?
No.
Okay, third question. He was wearing this dipping out shirt that people online were saying might be his shirt.
That like he has merch?
Yeah, but I didn't do that big a deep dive. But people on Twitter were like, oh, he's just trying to like promote his brand. And I was like, his brand is called Dipping Out.
Interesting.
It doesn't matter.
He's doing a terrible job of promoting it.
Oh, it's called Dipped Out. Okay, he is making the shirts. It's on Reddit. Tom, stop trying to make dipped out shirts happen. It's not going to happen. Okay, that's it.
I just can't imagine he has a large supportive base who's going to like spend their money, but...
Why would I get a shirt that said dipped out? What? Like I ran out of dips? No. I didn't leave anything. I'm perf.
I don't know.
He's weird. Anyway.
And it was yellow. I hate yellow.
No, his shirt was red.
Was it red?
Yeah,
why did I think it was yellow?
I don't know. Probably because his music blinded you.
I really didn't want to watch this scene. I was annoyed if James was going to be friends with him. And even if they were fighting, I was like, I don't want Scandoval on my screen.
If I have to hear him sing one more goddamn time. Okay, so James shows up. And he immediately is like, hey, man, you listen to Rachel's podcast?
I love how James will just get in there.
He had a beat to hit. And he had to make it home. So
it reminds me of when Scandoval happened and he called Raquel and he was like, oh, his little cocky cock and you're...
It was so good.
James will literally be the messenger. It is his favorite thing to do.
It's my favorite too. So James kind of feels bad. He's been there with Raquel where she's gone on podcasts and shit talked him, aka Shenanigans, one of my favorite podcasts on the block. Sandoval is just realizing now he cared for Rachel way more than she cared for him. She used him and threw him away. And James is like, no, this is great, but also I'm done talking about Rachel, even though I brought it up. And Sandoval's like, I have no closure though. And James is like, fuck closure.
You're never going to get that, sir.
Yeah. So then Sandoval also is like, hey, James, remember when she asked you to stop drinking or else you'd break up? Like, she didn't think you were gonna do it, so that was gonna be her excuse to break up with you. And James is like, yeah, probably, she's full of bullshit.
Sandoval trying to bond over like, she basically told me I needed to be better and he needed to be better. Like, God, I can't believe she would do that to us.
James, she's the villain in both of our stories.
Like, wow. This is not the same thing.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
No.
So, James, though, tells Sandoval, he's like, I don't really think you were in love with Rachel. I think you guys just had a fuck fest. And Sandoval is so offended because actually they didn't just fuck. They would spend 5 to 6 hours together.
But they would fuck for a few minutes of that.
Only a few minutes, because Tom Sandoval doesn't last more than 30 seconds.
No ways. That pencil dick? No.
No, absolutely not. So, like, they would spend at least 5 hours and 57 minutes talking.
So. Probably talking about how great Sandoval is. He probably tried to hog the conversation, and Rachel was just like,
how stupid Ariana is.
You're the best singer.
Yeah. You know who doesn't appreciate my singing? Ariana. So James is like, I feel like you're lying because Raquel said she wasn't in love with you. And like what you had with Ariana was love.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandoval's like, actually, I wasn't really in love with Ariana. And James is like, you dated her for 10 years and constantly talked about how much you loved her.
Like, what?
What are you talking about? And James just says, it's crazy how fast you forget and rewrite history. And that is the perfect. He rewrites all of history. So he says, have fun with your joke of a band. And James starts to walk out. And Sandoval responds and goes, go push some buttons on your laptop. But he says it under his breath.
Oh,
so then James turns around and says, what did you say? And Sandoval goes, you heard me. Go push some buttons on your laptop. And James laughs and leaves. And then guess what? James just got back from playing Coachella.
I was like, wow, the time that this aired, incredible timing, because Taylor Swift just listened to
James Kennedy's set
and was bopping along and loved his mix of her song
of Cruel Summer. So that's his high. That's the peak. That's the peak, baby. So, you know. Okay, so we go to Villa Rosa now. We're at the sperm donor party. I love the theme of Who's Your Daddy. That's hilarious. Here's my flex. Mm-hmm. The outfit Lala is wearing.
Yeah.
I have that outfit.
Shut up.
It was $30 on Amazon. Anyone can go get it. But Lala probably got the fancy one that Paige DeSorbo wore, but then she promoted the Amazon one. I have the Amazon one in black. So that was mine.
Fire. Flex. That's your stuff?
Yeah. So anyone who wants to look like Lala, you can go buy it on $30 at Amazon.
No. It sounds like Lala copied you.
Yeah, because I've had this set for a long time. Also, I'd like to say the person who inspired for me to get it was Paige DeSorbo, and she got in black, so I got in black.
Obviously.
As Mean Girl said, if she has army pants and flip-flops, I have army pants and flip-flops.
I feel like I need to buy one, and then we can record in person, and we can both wear ours.
Oh, I would love, because I want to buy another one, because I love this set so much. Because as you saw, Lala, it's a very comfy set, like pajamas, but you can dress it up.
I love it.
It's streetwear. Okay, so we're at this sperm donor party. People are talking. Allie and Katie are one of the, like, a duo that talks.
Mm-hmm.
And Allie's like, hey, Katie, I heard your argument with Lala was heated because Lala brought it up at paintball. And Lala says you are miserable and get upset at things easily. And Katie's like, what the fuck?
What?
Basically, Katie's just like, I'm tired of the same dumb bullshit getting brought up to me, and now she's pissed that Lala's talking shit behind her back and not to her face, which fair.
Very much fair. This would bother me.
So then we cut to Tom and Ariana's house. Sandoval and Schwartz are both here hanging out with Maya. Immediately I go, does Sandoval have a knife on his calf? Which they later do call his leg knife.
I thought it was like a wood spear on his leg.
I think it's when they went to REI for their really rugged Tahoe trip they took.
Stop.
I don't know why we're wearing it in the house. I'm a big proponent of, like, weapons probably aren't the best thing to have on your person inside your own home.
Especially, like, Sandoval sitting in that front room. As soon as Schwartz walks in, it's like, whoa, bro.
The leg knife is there. Yeah. It's just a bit much. Not great. We also meet Craig, the new assistant.
Okay, he was on last episode, and they just briefly showed us him during paintballing. Oh. And I was like, what are we doing here?
Well, Craig was a bartender at Schwartz and Sandy's, and now he's an assistant. So, whatever, you know.
Obviously. And let's all remember that Anne wasn't fired, quote unquote.
No, not at all. Okay, so Sandoval with his leg knife wants to cut Maya in half so he can get half. Men are crazy in the way they think they're being cute.
This goes back to our pre-show conversation about men versus bears, which one you'd rather run into in the forest. Point A, I would rather be with bears.
A bear wouldn't joke to like cut me in half just to love half of me. It's weird. It's a weird thing. The fact that you also have a leg knife on you is wild.
I think he really thinks he's funny, or like, I kind of think he's rage baiting us too. Like, why are we doing this? And Schwartz is over it. You can tell Schwartz is over this shit.
It makes me uncomfortable. It just makes him sound like he would probably kill me in my sleep or something, you know?
It leaves me unsettled.
Yeah. That's the perfect way to describe it. Anyway, Sandoval is like, hey, you know, I could maybe keep the house if I had something. And Schwartz is like, please don't say it. And Sandoval's like, it'd be if I had a roommate. And Schwartz is like, no. Okay, that's great for you. And Sandoval's like, as in you be my roommate. So Schwartz is like, okay, I'm just gonna play ball for the camera. I don't want to do this, but what's your proposal?
Yeah.
And Sandoval's like, $6,000 in rent. And Schwartz is like, well, I'm paying $400 or $4,500 right now. So like, no.
Why would I do that? He's like, why would I do that with not having equity in the house?
Yeah, if I'm paying for an apartment, that's one thing, but I'm paying for a house. And I don't get the house.
I'm increasing my rent and I'm getting nothing out of it, except for I'm getting negative optics. You're really
and I have to live with you and your leg knife? And Sandoval's like, you know what we could do? We could go get a loan together on the house. And somehow Schwartz, the dummy, is like, you know what? I hate that idea. That's terrible.
If anything, even if like Sandoval did not wasn't as horrible as he was at the reunion, but just the way he's treating Ariana with this house tells me I would never want to own a home with him.
No, listen, there are very few people I would ever own a home with. And
very few.
He is not even in the realm in my list.
It doesn't even pop into the brain.
Dude, no, this is a hard no. Don't even have to question. And I think Schwartz is also there, but he's like too awkward to say no. So he's just like, we can't get a loan. They would think we're nincompoops. And Sandoval's like, no, they wouldn't. They would think we're like smart businessmen or whatever.
This is where I'm like, Schwartz, drop Sandoval as being your bestie. Just be casual friends, because if this is what your friend wants you to do, I'm scared for you.
Well, Sandoval's like, think about it, okay? And Schwartz is like, totally will, yeah. And I was like, say no. Say no now, because he's like counting on you. Okay, so we go back to Villa Rosa. So before we pick a donor, we have to play pin the sperm on the women's reproductive organs. I know she said the vagina, but that's not
There was much more.
Yeah. So they play. It's fine. Anyway.
This was stupid.
Lala does a speech, gets emotional, and she's so happy that she has this option to have another child, because if there's one thing she thinks she's good at, she feels like she's a good mom, which I agree. I think Lala's a very good mother.
She's a great mom.
Anyway, so bitches and gays, it's time to pick a donor. And then we welcome fucking Brian from the sperm bank.
I was like, this has to be a fucking ad at this point.
I was cracking up.
He Brian just pops out of the trees too at Villa Rosa. Hey.
Brian is, while they're playing pin the sperm on the women's reproductive organs, Brian is not anywhere to be seen. She goes, and now I'd like to welcome Brian. And you're right, he emerges.
He just emerges from the trees.
Through the leaves.
Hey.
And he's like, hey everyone, I'm the one who has the sperm donor info. So now we get to learn about the sperm donors. Basically, I, from what they gave us, also probably would pick number one.
It wasn't presented in a way that I could retain this information. I needed this to be like a game show.
I think my only thing is, look, I'm not looking for a sperm donor anytime soon. Thanks for wondering. But they described number one and they were like athletic build, 6'2", hottie, basically. And then the second one, they were like loves to cook. And I was like, what?
I was like, why does that matter?
That's not like a genetic thing.
Yeah.
Like they should be looking at like has a history of heart disease, right?
Which
or am I crazy?
All of that is on there. We're obviously not getting that information.
Yeah.
Lala said on the after show that like she even got to hear their voices. And I was like,
oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's crazy. That's
I feel like cool. That's weirder.
It's like Hinge. You have a voice prompt.
You're not marrying this person. You just want their goods.
I think, yes, it's important that they liked hobbies, right? Because if someone put on there loves to murder children and eat them, that would be crazy. But like,
I think like athleticism, like did you play any musical instruments? That type of stuff could show up, but loves to cook. I feel like that's a nurture versus nature thing.
I agree. I know very little about genetics, so I don't know if like, intelligence is totally a thing connected to your parents or if it's something you learn and habits you grow. I think it's a mix of a lot of things. Obviously, I think the most important stuff is to see like the actual genes and what runs in the family. But like her mom was like, oh, this guy loves to cook and you hate to cook. And I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with
it's a baby.
Sperm?
Like you're years away from that even coming into play if it is genetic.
Like that was crazy. So
can you imagine the baby popping out and it's like, make me some penne, vodka sauce.
Hey, mom, I can make mac and cheese from scratch. What?
It's like, way to go, CMOS.
It's in my dad's genes, not from yours because you hate to cook. What?
You hate it.
It was weird. Whatever. She picks donor number 1. She doesn't know exactly when she's getting inseminated, but she wants a Virgo baby. As someone who knows nothing, good for you.
I can't imagine planning my baby out based on their sun, moon, whatever it's called, signs.
Do you know how many of my TikToks today have been astrology?
Alicia.
I for some reason I know my big 3, my top 4.
Your big 3.
Is that what
your
it's
sun,
called?
moon,
and rising? Yeah, you can't tell. I don't know what any of them mean, but I know them by heart now. And do you know how sad I am about that?
I don't know them. I just know I'm Cancer.
I'm a Scorpio with a Taurus moon and a Leo rising.
I can't even tell you all of the signs.
I signed up for CoStar or whatever that was because my friend wanted to see if we're compatible friends every day. It changes every day, which I also don't get. My friend Allie, you know her. I'll give her a shout. She will send me and be like, today it looks like we're not compatible. And I'll be like, what? But okay. So now we cut to James and Allie's house. Speaking of astronomy.
Astrology.
Oh, whoops. Astronomy to me is real, to make that clear.
Astronomy is real. That is the stars. But astrology is the signs.
Cool. Anyway, we're not going to say the D and the S word about me, but
like
it's not looking good.
I love how you say astrology is real. Well, I mean, it is to some people.
It's real.
It's not.
I wanted to be clear. I do believe in astrology. I
believe in the study of it. I don't understand the impact of it on lives.
That's astronomy, I think.
No, astrology.
Astrology is like the sun and the moon and the stars and the sky.
Astronomy is looking through.
I don't know which is which now. It's like they both sound stupid.
L is what Allie does. What Allie does.
Astronomy is correct. Astrology
is like looking at the stars in science.
Astrology
is astronomy is science.
They, when you say a word too many times, and now they both sound wrong.
Astrology is what Allie does.
Yes, astronomy
is science.
Astrology is this app that tells me what my personality is. And Allie occasionally. So, and my TikTok feed, because let me tell you, I don't have any astronomy on my TikTok, which is what I'd prefer at this rate.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Allie tells James about Lala's donor party, and she's like, listen, I didn't really care about any of their personality traits. as long as I had their birth charts, but you can't disclose place of birth. So I don't know what that has to do with it.
That's how you get their chart. You need the birth date, time.
I get it because I had to get it for this app, but also
Allie, why do you care about Lala's donor? It's not like you're doing this. Also, she said she needed high school GPA.
She says, I need your high school GPA and your sun sign. Allie, my high school GPA was a 4.0, and I still am questioning if it's astrology or astronomy. What do you mean a high school GPA? I don't even think my college degree means anything. What?
That's the thing. I just pushed some paper for years. I feel like I am a follower, and that's why my GPA was good.
My high school GPA is a 4.0, and my sun sign is a Scorpio. Allie, what does that tell you?
Is she a good donor?
Do you want my eggs?
Do you believe in her?
I don't know. Anyway, what would my kids be like? Who knows? So, Lisa had asked Allie when she's going to have babies, and Allie told Lisa she's not in a rush, but she knows one day she wants them. Right? She says.
Yeah.
One day she wants them.
Yeah, she's just in no hurry. And I'm like, yeah, this makes sense, girly. You're like cool, 25.
This conversation takes, I think, a left turn into something I didn't know.
I think this is very James, though.
Well, okay, so James is like, I see babies in our future. And then Allie's like, okay, but I've never felt like the call to be a mother. I've had the call to have pets, but not a mother. And she goes, she never has even like thought about marriage really, which fine. You don't have to think about marriage to like not.
This is how I feel. I have not pictured myself like walking down an aisle or like having kids, but if it happens, like sounds great.
Same here. I actually just told one of my like cousins that I don't think I want children, and he's like, I think you have great motherly instincts. And I went, I'm sorry, do you know me? I host a podcast. I wouldn't have time for this kid.
I'm not mad if it happens, and I'm not mad if it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
I think that's what Allie was saying, but James took this as like, we're never having kids and getting married. Because he's like, those are things I want. And he gets really emotional because he sees a future with Allie, and it scares him that Allie says she's not ready because they've been together for a full year and a half. And he doesn't want to do what he did with Raquel and be with someone for like 5 years and find out it was all bullshit.
Which I get that. I don't want to be 5 years down the road and then to find out you don't want kids when I do.
Agreed. But sure, we're a year and a half. We still don't know each other that well.
And she said, I'm good if it happens. I just don't want it right now.
Yeah, and we've only been here for a year and a half.
I don't dream about it every day because I have like a life of my own.
I dream about my cats every day. My cat, Mr. Banks. So James says his heart is broken when he hears Allie say her values don't align with his. And he says if she doesn't change her mind, he might have to start back at square one. And listen, though I think it's very sweet that James is like expressing these feelings for us, or like towards us. I didn't like how he's like, if Allie doesn't change her mind, and I was like, she's open to it, just like not this moment.
Yeah.
You know? What are we sad about?
On the after show, he seemed a lot more chill about it, though. He was like, no, we talk about it, and we like mentioned that the guest room is going to be a baby's room. It just isn't in the cards right now.
Well, he's literally playing Coachella. He doesn't have time for a kid.
Dude, he said that too on the after show. Actually, he was like, when I go and play shows, it's really hard for me to leave Hippie. I can't imagine leaving my kids. And he goes, you know what? No, I wouldn't leave my kids.
Allie doesn't want to be left with these children.
I won't have a life like how crazy it is now. And I was like, dude, you can work still. Like, simmer.
I kind of like that he said that, though, where he's like, I actually wouldn't want to leave my kids. He would settle down, which I think is also...
like, go to Coachella for the weekend, bring your kid, maybe leave the kid at home and come back, and you're not a bad dad.
I kind of like that, though, because a lot of men are very like, my life will never change, just my wife's will change because she's the mother or whatever. Whereas James is like, actually, I will change my whole life around for this child I've never even met yet.
He said he comes home and he's so excited to see Hippie. And I was like, that's actually so sweet.
Wait, I'm obsessed with him.
He's like rushing home.
So Allie says she tells James, like, I see a future with you. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And he's like, okay. So I'm glad that they're still together and working it out. So now we go to Tom Tom's first brunch. And guess what? Schwartz shows up with a whole box that only contains one bottle of watermelon shots that he probably could have just carried in on his own, but instead he put it in a box.
I love how Lisa's like, what are we going to do with that?
He's like, we're going to hand it out. We're going to hand out shots.
You have like 10 shots in there.
Shots. That's the vibe. And I only made a bottle, but brought it in this giant box.
First come, first serve.
Yeah. So then Ariana and Katie are here, and I'm like, oh my God, the wives and Tom Tom, this is so awkward and uncomfortable, but like, why are they here? Are we good?
Thing. I was like, this is going to be interesting. Like, there's no way Sandoval's not going to be here.
Yeah, because
first brunch.
He shows up, what I presume as is late, but he shows up. And then obviously, like James, Allie, Lala, Brock, Sheena, they all show up. Great. So James apologizes to Sandoval when he gets there because Allie told him to be the bigger person in conversations with Sandoval. She probably said his chart.
Sandoval goes, yeah, same. Like, you can't say, hey, I'm sorry too.
Well, he's like, can't say the words. Like, thanks for that. And I was like, sir, come on.
Grow up.
And James is DJing at Tom Tom's first brunch.
Obviously.
And Tom Sandoval, of course, gets his non-alcoholic Heineken. I'm so over the Heineken. I don't know what it is. All
I think about is how Summer House has a sponsorship with bubbly water, and they always show it. Yes, because remember whenever we went to BravoCon, they started that sponsorship. Right. Anytime they open the fridge, it's stocked with bubbly. Anytime they put alcohol outside, there's bubbly in it too.
You know what? You're right. I just feel like it looks like Loverboy, and I just look over it.
I'm like, we have to have a sponsorship with Heineken Zero, how much we're showing this. Like, if they're not, this is getting out of control.
There's no way that is his drink of choice as a non-drinker. Like,
it's not my drink of choice, whether it has alcohol or not. I would rather
have water. Heineken is such trash.
I don't understand why we constantly have to prove we're not drinking by drinking a Heineken Zero.
That's the other thing is he's always like, I'll take a Heineken Zero. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Shut up.
And they always show it to us.
Who cares?
Every time Lala, Sheena, and Sandoval drink them, we see them order it. Ordering it, opening it. It's very obvious in their hand. Like, they're making it such a point. I'm like, what? What's the obsession?
They take a full sip and go, that's some good Heineken Zero.
They're always like, can I get at the camera Heineken Zero?
They do a full right in the camera and go, I know I love a Heineken Zero. Don't you? It's weird. It's super weird.
If they're not getting paid, it makes no sense to me.
It's super weird. I don't know. So Sheena and Lala, so they're here. And Logan also comes, but not Logan the manager. Logan, the one that was thought to hook up with James but didn't.
Yes.
But maybe. Anyway, so Allie and Katie were talking at the donor sperm party, and Lala's like, I saw you guys talking. What were you talking about? And
I'm going to interrupt you, but I didn't.
What a weird conversation to have.
Lala just doesn't hit for me at all this season. Anything she does.
That was crazy. So then Katie's like, yeah, thanks for asking. I heard you said I was miserable and angry at everything. And Sheena immediately, Lala didn't say that. Nope. Nope.
And Lala straight goes after Allie.
She looks at Allie and goes,
what I said.
Did you tell Katie that's exactly what I said? And Allie's like, yeah, I don't know if that was the exact words, but that's what it sounded like to me and what I said to Katie. And we see footage that instead of the word miserable, the word unhappy was used. But is there really a difference?
That's okay. I do think miserable is one step more, but in the grand scheme of things, we got the point across.
She's miserable, unhappy, upset. They all fall.
Let's all pull out our thesaurus, and they'll both be linked.
One for the other. So Lala turns to, she's like, Katie, I was gonna have a convo with you, but I feel like you're not in a happy place right now. Without missing a beat, Katie goes, "You're wrong." When I tell you, I went, oop. And she's here again. My little butterflies are tingling.
My question is for Lala is what deems that she is unhappy because she doesn't just go along with whatever you want and say.
Also, she could be a little bitchy and not still be happy.
Yeah,
she's a little
Just because I'm living a happy life doesn't mean I have to be happy at every single moment. And that actually, I was sitting there because I'm not happy presently, but I was like, this makes me feel like you have to put on a charade though. Like, like you're asking Katie to be happy all the time she's around you. Otherwise, she's going to call you or like you're going to call her unhappy.
Yeah, this was
That's
crazy.
not a real friend.
This was crazy. So Lala says she doesn't want to trigger Katie because she's not loyal and she's not being loyal and consistent. That's what Katie said. And Katie's like, it's not that, but your softness that you claim to have is not going towards the right people.
Yeah.
Which is true. And Katie feels like Lala is more defensive with her. And Lala says it's probably because last year they were besties and now life changed. And now Katie's close to Ariana. So Lala doesn't know where she fits in Katie's life.
That's Katie's fault and she's unhappy because of that?
I also love Katie's immediate like what are you talking about? Because just because she has a friendship with one person doesn't mean she can't have a friendship with you. And Ariana like on the side is like, can we just all hang out in one bed and like be girls? But Katie says like, look, I'm not the one with the kid. I'm not the one like doing anything. I just like wake up in the mornings. And she says basically like, I have time for you and I try and reach out, but like you're busy and like that's just where our lives are.
And you don't see Katie being mad at Lala for having a busy life. Like Katie gets that.
Yeah.
But then Lala is upset that Katie and her aren't hanging out, but it seems like Lala's not putting any energy into it.
Yeah, and Katie gets really upset because she's like, I do nothing, basically. Like, I have time. And I felt this, like, when my friends are like, oh, I haven't talked to you in a while. And I'm like, well, you're the one who's, like, with your fiance and planning a wedding. Like, I'm just here.
I think about that so much. I get so annoyed when I see friends at larger group events and they're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. And I just go, okay.
Yeah, I've been here.
If you want to do something about that, then do something about that. Because I'm tired of pouring into relationships and being the Katie who's constantly reaching out and I'm the reason we get together and you're doing nothing to fill my cup back up.
Yeah. And also, if I know you have a kid, like whenever you have that child, our time is not going to happen. So like you should be texting me like, hey, I don't have my child. Let's hang out now.
Yes.
Right? Like you're the one with the busy schedule. I can adjust my schedule really easily. You can't because you're on a custody sharing.
And I feel like schedule. Katie like understands the expectations of their friendships have changed because like Lala's a mom. But yeah, you've got to also reach out. Like you have to let me know what your schedule is and try to actually make an effort here in us seeing each other. It cannot just all be on me.
My other issue is I understand they were best friends, but also Lala can't get mad that Katie's spending more time with Ariana because they're in the same place. Their ex-boyfriends, husbands, whatever, were best friends. And that's how they became close. And both of those men basically screwed them and they're not with them. So they're obviously finding comfort in each other. They're both on the show together. They have a business together. They just have so much in common. They're doing so much.
The way Lala points that out too is that it seems like Lala's trying to say like, oh, you left me for Ariana. Lala, you have Sheena. Like you have your buddy too.
That's my other thing. Sheena and Lala see each other more because they have kids, because they can do more kid-friendly activities. Katie doesn't want to go to the park with your kid.
No.
But Sheena will.
And that's cool. Like, Katie's not mad about that. I'm really freaking annoyed with Lauren from Utah because both in this scene and on the internet, it's like Lala has the problem with everyone. Lala's upset about anything. And nobody else, like, it's not a mutual annoyance. It's Lala's upset with people for X, Y, and Z reason. And Lala's the one spitting about it, talking about it, and no one responds.
With
like, nobody's giving the beef back. Yeah.
You're not even talking about it with the people you're upset with. Like, if you were actually like, hey, Katie, I feel like insecure because we were besties and I'm sad we lost that. I understand our lives are different, but I feel like we're placed by Ariana and like that makes me sad. Katie would be receptive, but instead you're like, Katie's unhappy and like I trigger her and like now she's hanging out with Ariana and she's not hanging out with me. It's just weird.
It's the blame game. It's they're the problem. They did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but whatever. So Katie and Lala are both like really receptive of this conversation. They're crying. Katie wants to have Lala as a close friend forever, but she says in her interview, like, it goes both ways. It's an effort, like not an expectation. Like, this friendship needs to, be on both sides.
You need to water the friendship. You have to put into it. It's not just going to be here because, like, we've been on the show forever. And I'm not just going to have blind loyalty to always just nod and say yes to whatever you want.
Yeah, I do like that Lala says, like, to Katie that everything Katie has said is correct because Lala doesn't want to take time to hang out with Katie, but she loves Katie and wants them to show up for each other. Whatever. Basically, she's like, Katie, I understand where you're coming from, but, like,
very curious what happens the rest of the season with these two.
We need to show up for each other. So they're going to go back to being them. All 5 of the girls. The Spice Girls, which is fun. They do a little deep.
Let's see how long this lasts.
Allie's not old enough to know who the Spice Girls are.
So true.
Then I would like to say Bravo actually plays Sheena's song Apples now. As they're showing Tom Tom around. This is the song that's happening. Is APPLES.
Oh,
how you like them. Okay, so everyone's enjoying brunch. Sandoval and Schwartz are sitting together. Sandoval is begging Schwartz to be his roommate. But then Sheena's coming over. So Sandoval's like, shh, don't tell anyone. Don't say anything. And Sheena's like, hey, Sandoval, how you doing after those Rachel podcasts? And he's like, oh, I'm not getting closure. And Sheena's like, no, same here. So you know what I did instead of closure? I wrote a song about this situation, and it actually came out yesterday. And Schwartz is like, cool, I didn't know you had a song out. And she's like, yeah, so it's actually about the Raquel situation. And there are some lines obviously open to interpretation, but you might think are about you, which, like, they could be about anyone,
But so they are about you.
She shares a line that says, from a Ferrari to a Jetta, thought you knew better. You went from something gold to something not, and you can do better. So, she ran better, way better. And Schwartz is like, that could literally be anyone, Sheena, you're right. And then in his interview, he's like, could be anyone, but Rachel actually drove a Jetta, but, like, could be anyone. Hilarious.
I love Schwartz this episode.
I love Sheena going, it's open to interpretation. Like,
it could be about anyone.
She's Taylor Swift. She's writing, like, mystery songs, but it's, like, so stupid.
Yeah, like, I wrote about 4 different events coded in this one line. Like, you're just a slight inspiration.
When I tell you, though, the lyrics, you need to go listen because you're going to be like, this is so funny. I was cracking up. So, Sheena is like, yeah, but my song is so good. You won't even hate the lyrics. That's how good the song is.
Sheena.
And Sandoval's like,
fucking for real.
It is. It's a banger. It is.
I know, but come on. He has a slight right to be upset. Like, this song isn't such a banger that it just... He's like, oh my God, I totally forgot you bashed me.
Okay. I think he has a right to be upset that Sheena bashed him. Kind of. However,
because they're rebuilding their friendship. I think he thought this stuff wouldn't happen again.
Well, the song was obviously written before that. And he, if we remember at the reunion, said that him and Sheena were never friends. So I'm assuming
1,000%.
She then wrote the song. It went through production. Yeah. She did the whole Tahoe thing. And now she's like, but I have this song. So,
Hey, it came out yesterday. And now I'm telling you.
Sorry. So, but how I think Sandoval gets upset is not the greatest. Anyway, So Sandoval's like, it would be different if the roles were reversed. And he's so upset. And he puts his sunglasses on inside and walks away. And Schwartz is like, oh my God, he's, like, really sad. And then Sandoval says he felt like him and Sheena were becoming friends. And now she's profiting off his pain. And I was like, yeah, man, we've all been. You're the only dummy that really hasn't.
Well, where's the same energy towards Rachel? Because he has yet to say anything about Rachel so publicly like he has about Ariana. And I don't think Rachel deserves to have comments about, like, how they were when they had sex and things like that. But he has never once been upset with Rachel for profiting. And now in present day, like, she has a whole podcast about it. And he has never done... On, like, Nick Viall's podcast, it's not like he spoke about that podcast. Like,
no, he's just mad at everyone else.
He never brings the same energy. He only is mad at, like, Sheena and Lala for this. But, like, Sandoval can go do podcasts.
Agreed. To me, if it's on the show, it's fair game for anyone to profit off of. So he feels like he's always going to be collateral damage in this. Sir, it's not collateral. It's what you've done to yourself.
Ariana, Sheena, Schwartz, they're collateral damage.
Yeah, Ariana's definition of collateral damage of what you've done. Schwartz, definition. Because they fully had lives with you that you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant, the house, those things are fucked up. They are collateral. This is just the consequences to your own damage. Actions.
And Sheena's just walking on top of it.
Sheena just wrote a stupid song that rhymed better with better, and like, you're pissed? You think this song is going to be number one on the charts? Why are you mad? No one had even heard the song until this episode. It's been out for like a year. What are you talking about? You did this. And then he walks out, and as he walks past Sheena and Schwartz, he goes, keep cashing in on my misery. And absolutely. I went, ooh, he fucking got her. Look at it.
Sheena, write that down, because that is a good line for your next song.
The next song. Cashing in. I quote it now. There you go, Sheena. So, next time we don't get a lot, but Jax is back at Sir. He goes to see Lisa. Hate that. Brittany's also back. Hate that. Mm-hmm. Sheena and Brock are working out. That's about it. I think they are, because they're still together. But what do I know? A lot of
chaotic relationships.
Okay, should we do Accepted and Blocked?
Let's do it. You want to go first?
Sure. I'm going to start with Accepted, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking Sheena.
I knew you would.
APPLES, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually a banger song. But also on top of that, I do think, you know what? You got to get the money. If you're going to write a song about the way you feel and then profit off of it, and all 12 of the streams are mine, I'll help in any way I can, you know? Also, way to call Rachel out with that Jetta line. That's and Scandoval. That's funny. That's hilarious.
It's true. So, like,
listen, as much of a Taylor Swift fan as I am, I love a straight shooter where I just know what it's about and I know what you're getting
in the era of TTPD, how dare you compare her to Taylor Swift?
It was the first thing to pop in my head, you know, because Taylor does poetry and Sheena does sentences, and I think it's different.
Sentence disses.
She just writes it. Also, Sheena really didn't get in a lot of trouble this episode.
No. She helped clean.
She was a good friend. I think
she was a good friend.
She was a good friend. Okay. Who are you picking?
This is a rarity, but I'm going to go with Lala. I am excited about her storyline.
You really hated her at the end there. Are you sure?
I know. But I feel like this is the one and only... there wasn't much going on this season. This episode. I am excited about Lala's little, like, sperm donor journey. So, like, stick with that. Stick with that, because I know I'm probably going to be mad at you in the next few episodes. So
I support. The Blocked is hard because, again, I feel like Scandoval is just such low-hanging fruit.
I know.
But part of me, here's my thought process. Part of me was like James, maybe, for like that conversation with Allie and also like apologizing to Scandoval, which I didn't love. But also, could it be Allie because all she cares about is your high school GPA?
I know.
And your sun sign? I think I have to go with Allie because what is astrology, you know? What's astronomy at this point? Who knows? Science versus
heart and soul.
The app that I got in my phone. Who knows? I'm picking Allie. After talking about it, I think I just have to.
I'm going with Scandoval. I just can't. I'm even more enraged by this house conversation where he's just now acting like he can't afford it because now he actually looked at the numbers.
Ugh, good. That was a good one. Okay, let's talk about the podcast by the people post we got. Okay, Tonat says, I'm over Scandoval trying to change his whore into a housewife. The 27s make that good as gold song bearable. How dare you, Tonat? The song is a banger. Lisa's the star of the episode so far. She doesn't care about this podcast shit, thinks Tom is an idiot, and giving Lala a place to throw her party. Perfect. Sheena's acting like such a good friend. James stole the episode from Lisa, and him not going after Tom for the go push buttons comment shows he's grown.
Yeah.
James is what we need more of. He's hot and fiery. I agree.
He's hot and fiery, and he doesn't take it too far anymore.
No. Which I love. I did like him walking out. I did think like, wow, we're different.
I love him walking in with fire against Sandoval. Well deserved.
Yeah, it was great. And this bitch, she knew damn well what she was doing with an August-September baby due date. We see you, Lala. What is it?
Oh,
a Virgo?
Wait, do you think she's going to have the baby on the next season?
The Valley?
I don't know.
Oh. Tyranny says, I immediately thought the same thing about Lala's due date. Okay, I'll keep reading Tonette's post. Tonette says, I never really bought into James and Allie being together. It started as a replacement for Rachel and now more for the cameras than a match. Interesting.
I think their lack of chemistry, like I understand what you're saying. Like it is kind of a little off on screen, but to me that kind of leans into them. They're probably way more authentic off screen. I would have to see them in person.
I agree. Tom needs to live by himself because it would make him a better human, but he won't. I've dated a narcissist and it's quite hard for them to live alone. My ex never did, and I'm thinking of Tom. If Tom Schwartz stands strong on not wanting to be a nincompoop, then Sandoval will land on Billy Lee or Kyle Chen or someone else. Oh, interesting.
Just like he hasn't ever been single, he hasn't ever lived alone.
Does that mean we're not narcissists because we can live alone?
That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
I care about myself a lot, so sometimes I think maybe I am. But also I don't know.
Anyway, no, I'm pretty self-centered in the right amount, though.
I'll talk to my therapist about it, see her opinion.
Yeah, writing notes.
Anyway, Tonette finishes and said Tom wanted to buy Ariana out because he wanted to move Rachel in, but since that's in the toilet, he needs to just fucking sell.
How would he have afforded that? Because if she was only paying $1,000 for Sheena's apartment, like
she doesn't have money.
Buck up to $6,000.
She didn't have toilet paper either.
He'll supply that. He's got that. Don't you worry. She'll be taken care of.
Thank God. What if she has a thought to write down? We know
she doesn't. I can't believe she threw away of life with a bunch of toilet paper, batteries, and pens stocked. Why would she turn all that down?
Have a battery available. That's crazy. Okay, Tonette, sorry. One more thing. Jax and Brittany showing up at the end of another episode is being hella thirsty. I know. The worst. Anyway,
I hate it.
Tyranny says, if I have to hear Sandoval saying one more time, my ears might start bleeding. The only part of that scene that worked was when James read his sorry ass. Mm-hmm. Then for Sandoval to say that his financial situation changed in 2 months, bullshit. Meredith clocked that.
Terrible. If that truly happened, I actually want him to get this house and for it to go into foreclosure.
Agreed.
That'd be a dream
Best
situation.
of luck. Mm-hmm. Also, I cannot take his fucking victim story anymore. He's now saying that Rachel used him. Get the fuck out. We know that's not true because he offered her a towel in the pool. So
they used each other. Let's be honest. James was right. They just banged.
Okay, Tierney says, I'm glad that Ariana said Lauren from Utah couldn't use the house for her sperm donor selection party, which I really did think was a cute party, by the way. But if Ariana had moved out, Miss Lala wouldn't even have had that option. Having it at Lala's or at Lisa's was the best place. I will say Ariana was so cute at the party and her support for Lala.
She was so happy. I forgot about that.
Even Katie, who had heard that Lala said she was miserable, was happy for her. Lala cannot say that they don't support her. She's the one trying to rewrite history. Yeah, so in current time, Lala is going out on a bunch of podcasts and saying that these people don't support her and they're not her real friends. She actually just unfollowed Katie and Ariana to have an even count of followers.
The ratio of followers to following.
But she kept Tom Schwartz because Schwartz is on the Nick Viall podcast, which I didn't listen to. But why were his feet dirty?
I was listening to that podcast. I did not watch it after seeing the whole feet problem. And I went to Lala's, who she's following. The accounts she is following, there are so many she could unfollow. There are accounts that haven't posted in years. Yeah. She is following Tupac's account that his like family basically runs, or his, what's that called? Estate runs. I'm like, what?
Tupac? She's a fucking liar. Yeah.
There were some random ass accounts too. There were some, I forget what they were, and I was like, why would you follow this? Like brands.
Did she unfollow Summer Moon?
Probably not.
Because that would be a crime, truly.
But Lala said on a podcast that she unfollowed them because she looked through her list on who she could remove, and like she just doesn't care to see their content right now. And I'm like, there are so many people who don't post.
Well, she said, if I get more followers, maybe I'll follow them back.
Like what?
Yeah, Nick Viall talked about that. Also, stop giving Tom Schwartz a platform, and his girlfriend don't.
It was the weirdest interview.
Did you have any notes from it you want to really?
No, I just was chuckling because I was just like, this is pure chaos.
I can't. Okay, one day I'll go one-to-one with Nick Viall. We'll face off. I'll run a troll account against him. Anyway, so Tierney says, speaking of LVP, I can't with her misogyny. She continues to baby Sandoval, and why? Because he owns 5% of TomTom. 2.5%.
2.5.
He's a cast member on the show. She doesn't show the same grace to the women. She needs to go back to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. No, she would get eaten on that show now. She
has always picked the Toms. Like, if you think about it, like, they were the ones who could have gotten involved in the sangria business, and they were the ones she decided to do a bar with.
It was a good marketing strategy because they were just two goofy dudes on our TV screen.
The Tom, you mean?
Yeah, we fell for it.
I thought you were talking about the sangria. I was like, Jesus.
It was a good idea to pick those two.
Yes.
Because they're goofy. They're just going to do what she says and, like, be the faces. However, now is not the time to back these horses. Admit you're wrong and just leave it at that.
I just don't think I'm going to be satisfied at the reunion with like, I'm not just one-sided with my support. Like, I don't think people are going to admit that.
It's going to be a painful reunion. I already know it. I want
Ariana and Katie to leave this show and for it to just crumble.
Same. I want it to be canceled. I want them not to resign and then for it to be canceled and Lisa to beg them to come back and them say, no, have you not watched the season? You're not with us. You're against us.
Fuck you. Why would I ever do that to myself again?
Off. So Tierney says, I forgot that Sheena released Apples right around the time that the Bethany Rachel podcast came out.
Yeah.
You knew? I didn't know about Apples.
I knew this came out. Sheena was posting about it, but I didn't listen to it.
I didn't know even Apples existed. Tierney says, that made me laugh. Sandoval's reaction to it was exactly what I would expect, and I was glad he left TomTom. Also, he needs to stop wearing women's suits because they just look so odd on him. As we learned at that singles night, he wears a lot of women's stuff.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Tierney says, I'm accepting Ariana because once again, she has showed happiness for her friend Lala. She made the point to tell Brock and Sheena about the house situation. And I appreciate a good I told you so moment, especially when she doesn't have to say the words. I'm blocking Sandoval, see for the above reasons, and I want to double block him because I had to listen to him sing again. No, totally understandable.
Understand.
I also fucking hated it. Okay, so Chrissy says, this was a great episode, but also pissed me off. Real quick. Let me grab my Post-it note I wrote my thoughts down on. Rock on.
She sent me a note because she was at work.
1, yay, James. I fucking love this guy. The fact that he can clap back and still show up later and be forgiven. Chef's kiss.
Number 1 guy in the group.
Bitch of all, pestering Schwartz to shack up with him is hilarious and made my week. And hearing Schwartz talk about them getting alone together. Hello, remember Schwartz and Sandy's? He's not dumb enough to do it twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he actually isn't that dumb. 3, Allie getting mixed up with the Lala and Katie drama. Don't do it, girl. You're in danger. I was scared for her, but I think she got off pretty unscathed.
I was very nervous for Allie. She's an easy scapegoat.
Yeah. 4, Lisa stole the show. 5, why is Sandoval's personal assistant a clone of him? Nope, I can't. It was fucking weird. Accepted Lala's sperm donor. Ooh, you mean donor number 1 with the athletic build at 6'2".
That's a good accepting.
Blocked. I don't really know. Sheena for cleaning up Tom's mess. No, she was being a good friend. Stop it. And she really dabbles, you know? Anyway, Sarah then says, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it showed that we don't need constant drama and fighting and screaming to enjoy something. I'm subscribed to a lot of podcasts, but only Patreon to one. Oh my God, thank you. We love being exclusively yours. And I know that they would call an episode like this boring, but I will literally fight them and beat them with their own arm. That's my inner early VPR Stassi coming out. I agree. I like this episode. I didn't have an issue with it.
I need it to be a little chill because I think it's going to get feisty in a few. Like, we have 2 more this season, I believe.
Okay.
That reunion, or that finale. I'm like, what's going to happen?
So Sarah says, there was so much to enjoy that I was too engrossed in the episode to take notes. The way I usually do. I loved Allie the entire time and thought I'd be accepting her this week, but alas, ultimately I did not. Ooh, suspense is killing me. I really enjoyed watching Sheena tidy Ariana's house while Ariana just literally stood and looked around. And this wasn't even a diss because anytime I try to even think about tidying my house, I do literally the same thing. While a lot of VPR alum have bars and restaurants, perhaps Sheena could look into starting a professional organization business. Also, I loved it when Ariana whisper yelled about the house. Love the energy. Just love it. It's early days Ariana. I loved Sheena cleaning the house. I loved her OCD coming out, being like, I need to clean. Why do Easter and Christmas?
Well, this was very real.
Yeah. She's like, what's on, there are shoes on the dining room table?
She's like, gross.
Calm down. They're actually not eating there. Okay, Sarah says, I did feel sorry for Tom Sandoval and watching him react to what Rachel had to say about never really being in love with him.
That did make me sad for him a little bit. That's hard.
I don't think I have empathy. I think I'm a narcissist.
Well, even if he broke his home, that's where I go back to, I said, like, they really should have just dated after.
Yeah.
If you blew up your life, I feel him being like, hey, let's make this happen. And for her to be like, I didn't even love him or like really care about him, like him, that's heartless.
It's rough. Okay, what Rachel said makes sense because last season I did feel like she was much too mad about the things concerning James when it wasn't her place to be. I'm sure you've given your thoughts on it by the time you read this, but I'm keen to hear your overall take on this scene. Honestly, we didn't really give our thoughts. I think she wasn't over James. I don't think her and Tom had like a deep love. I think it was more of the excitement of
like lust.
Like the excitement of sneaking around and having a secret and knowing, and then like thinking you're in love, but when you're removed from that situation, you're like, not really.
I think the Rachel James stuff, I don't think she wanted to be with him, but I think him being happy drove her nuts.
He moved on I think she thought she would probably move on before him.
That's it. It's like he was fine without her, and I think she thought he would unravel.
Yes, I agree.
And be James season 6.
Yeah, I totally agree. But alas, didn't work. Also, speaking of Tom, his new assistant looks like he skips leg day. Oh, I'll have to look at Greg's legs, I guess, next time.
The little twigs.
Okay, Sarah says, Katie, you girls should know that I'm not Katie's biggest fan. I've always found it difficult to empathize with her, especially the last couple of seasons. And that is weird because that's the only time I've empathized with her. Anyway, the scene at Tom Tom towards the end with the rest of the girls is my reason why. When Lala was being open and vulnerable about where she stands with the group, I really felt bad for her because I am almost always that person. Seeing Ariana respond with genuine emotion made me love Ariana a little more. Mm-hmm. Seeing Katie also respond with emotion and vulnerability, I loved that. That helped me connect with her. I feel like we hardly ever see her be vulnerable and show what she really is feeling, and that's why I struggle to understand her. But this scene, yes, please, I'd love more of that for Katie.
I understand that.
I get that.
I'm Katie, though. I don't show it because
I think that's it. I'm also like Katie, and I think also as the friend that has a ton of time, if you're not going to reach out and you have a busier life, then that I try my best, you know. But yeah, I also don't show my emotions that often. So I think that's why I see Katie being like this strong person.
I'm like Katie, where the emotions I tend to show outwardly are like anger and like being upset with someone.
But like,
more than,
I think
like,
Lala
sadness.
shows that. I think Katie is more quiet, and I almost want to say like removed from the situation. Like Lala, I think instead of sadness has shown anger.
Yeah.
And that's not me. It's more of like, oh, if you're mad at me, I'm just going to shut down kind of thing.
Yeah.
With Katie, which is me 100%. God, I love Katie. Am I Katie or am I in love with Katie? Let me know.
Am I Katie or am I in love with Katie?
I don't know. So, okay, last few thoughts from Sarah. Like I mentioned earlier, I was ready to accept Allie the whole episode, but then bam, Ariana knocked it out of the park. I'm accepting Ariana and blocking Tom Sandoval purely for his profit off my pain. So, guys, if writing songs about pain was off limits, we wouldn't have Taylor Swift. So Tom's got to sit down. Thank you for comparing Sheena to Taylor Swift again.
Don't give him that though, because he's gonna compare himself to like Jake Gyllenhaal now and like be like, bro, I know what it's like.
He's Joe Aldwin. He better be fucking careful. Anyway, so great. Thank you so much, Sarah. Let's keep going. Okay, Lauren says, I cheered last week for the producers who left Sandoval out of the episode. Was he not in the episode? What was last week's episode? What did we talk about? You think about it. Okay. I knew we would then be punished for having extra helpings of the douchebag this week.
Oh, he was on it, but like, I mean, the most we saw of him was like at like paintball. So like, not really.
You're right. He did paintball.
He wasn't like sitting and talking.
Great, which honestly we prefer. And he didn't sing. That was fine. Okay.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
I still cannot bring myself to feel sorry for him until he shows genuine remorse for what he did to Ariana. That's where I'm at. I don't feel bad that Rachel is not back with him because fucking figure it out.
I don't really feel bad for him, but I'm like, you suck to Rachel.
They all just suck. They all just suck.
It just reminds me like she sucks too. She's not some manipulated girly pop.
No.
Sitting in the corner at our mental health facility, which no shame in that
she wanted us to think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren says, I didn't have much to add beyond what everyone else already said. This is a great group of Bravo watchers. I know, they're all discussing. It's so fun.
It's fun. This is the best era of the podcast that we've had.
Okay, the James and Sandoval scene was the overall high point. Seeing the look on James's face as Sandoval started talking was hilarious. You knew he wasn't going to stand there and take it for long. And then he stood up to Sandoval without losing his ever-loving mind like old James would have, which was awesome. I was irritated when he apologized since I don't think Sandoval deserved it, but it does show that he's growing. And also made me mad again when Sandoval took no accountability for his behavior. And I've realized this is why I don't want to see anyone apologize to Sandoval ever again. He reacts as if he's such a great person for accepting their apology without ever apologizing for his own behavior. He's just the worst. Wow, that was beautifully put. That is exactly what I thought, and you just had the words for it. Okay, Lauren says, I'm somebody who is very specific about repeating what I heard word for word. So the Allie situation with miserable versus unhappy really bothered me. She also left out the part that Lala clearly stated that she was worried about her friend. Lala has made some suspect decisions this season, and I can't defend all of her actions, but putting myself in her position, I would have been really upset that my comment was relayed that way. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't remember anything.
I think the not sharing that Lala was concerned is more of an offense than the word change, because it is hard to remember what people say.
I paraphrase a lot, so I would be Allie, or I wouldn't really say anything.
I would say something. I love to gossip.
Or I'd be like, hey, like Lala was talking about paintball. I know your friendship's in a rough place. She's like, yeah, I don't know. You should.
I heard that you guys got into it. That's
all just like don't do what she said. Just be like, she was saying, and then paraphrase. Yeah. Okay. Accepted for Lauren is Ariana. She was the highlight at the sperm donor party for me, and blocked is Sandoval. Gross. Wow, great thoughts from freaking everyone. Thank you so much for doing this. We have the best time doing this podcast. Okay, is there anything else, Meredith, before I close this out with James's amazing quote that
Take it away.
Amazing. Okay, so do all the things I mentioned. Check out our TikTok, specifically Meredith is a TikTok star.
Oh, Alicia's come right behind me.
I get like 10 likes. Please don't think it's me. It clearly is Meredith.
What I'm hearing is go show Alicia some love on TikTok.
No, I'm fine with my face not being plastered anywhere. Like truly, I have a voice for podcasts.
I'm a star.
Or what is it? I have a face for podcasts. Truly, I have not for TikTok. Yeah. Thank you so much. Anyway, and with that, forget what you heard and remember where you heard it first.
Thanks for joining. Bye.